This is hilarious.
So guess who just got the tea on the other American companies that Donald Trump over with his policies? For some reason, the other media outlets are not reporting it, but I'm finna say it. And when I say that they are losing money, they are losing big money, y'all. Big money. You see, it's one thing when Donald Trump is fucking with our money. Unfortunately, we're at the bottom of the totem pole, so it is what it is. But when he's with the top percents coins, he might have to go into hiding. So BlackRock, which is an American company, loses $17 billion worth of investments with a Dutch pension fund. Why? Because BlackRock couldn't wait to dismantle their climate risk prevention initiatives. Turns out that the Netherlands are really big on climate risk prevention. They actually give a damn about the companies that they invest in and making sure that those companies actually put forth an effort in reducing those climate risks. But because BlackRock could not wait, they just could not wait to take advantage on the 125 environmental rules and policy rollbacks that the Trump administration established in February, hoping to cut corners, meaning that they were going to be able to pocket some more profit. They lost $17 billion as a result.
Major American companies are losing billions as new tariffs and policies shake markets and impact profits across multiple industries.
Top 10 U.S. companies that lost the most in market value due to DeepSeek. At number 10, Micron Technology faced a loss of $15.6 billion, affecting its overall valuation. Ranked ninth, AMD lost $16 billion, marking a significant drop in its market value. In eighth place, Tesla lost $54 billion, reflecting a notable decline in its market position. At number 7, Alphabet Google experienced an $81 billion decrease, reflecting a significant loss in market capitalization. Ranked 6th, Meta, Facebook, lost $85 billion, experiencing a sharp decrease in its value. In 5th position, Amazon saw a $112 billion drop, impacting its standing in the market. At number 4, Apple lost $147 billion, reflecting a major drop in its market dominance. Ranked 3rd, Broadcom experienced a $189 billion loss, severely impacting its market presence. In 2nd position, Microsoft lost $218 billion, marking a massive decline in its market value. At number 1, Nvidia lost $579 billion, one of the largest declines in the tech sector.
$17 billion. Now, I don't know how much money you thought that you were going to be able to pocket, but you lost $17 billion and they gave you some time. They gave you some time. The Dutch pension fund saw that you guys decided to renege on those initiatives in February. They gave you all the way up until the end of August to get your act together. And seeing as how you guys decided to stand on business, so did they. And they pulled away $17 billion. And they're not the only ones that's taking a hit. The American company called Caterpillar took a hit so big that even the White House had to talk about it. Now, you guys already know when I have the screenshots, we're reading along, okay? Key points, first bulletin. Let's go. The U.S. State Department told CNBC on Thursday that it was very troubled by Norway's $2 trillion wealth fund selling its stake in New York-listed Caterpillar. All right, the second bulletin, right? The fund management said last week that Sovereign Wealth Fund would exit Caterpillar and several Israeli banks over concerns about the ties to the conflict in the Gaza Strip. They pulled out because of ethnical concerns. Ethnical concerns. You see, the American company Caterpillar allows the use of their machinery, such as bulldozers, to be used to facilitate the current genocide that's taking place by the Israeli people to the people of Palestine. And see, this trust fund, this Norwegian trust fund, wants no parts with that. They decided that they're going to be on the right side of history, unlike America. And it's not just the machinery. They're also helping supply some of the equipment needed for the weapons. So yeah, the Norwegian company, the trust fund, they don't want that blood on their hands. They don't. But see, here are the two pieces that I'm putting together, right? Earlier this month, August 7th, American economists started coming out issuing warnings, letting us know that they're actually concerned over the state of America's economy, right? And it was actually getting worse. That same day, scrambling, the Trump administration decided to invite a whole bunch of reporters saying that they were going to show them how well that the economy actually was doing. Out of nowhere, Donald Trump comes out with this chart, or he shows a chart with no background story. We don't know what we're looking at. It's just a red line going up. And he's like, yeah, see, everything is going up. I'm pretty sure that was probably the inflation rate. But let me show you the clip.
This one chart really says it better than anything. If you look at this is great. But this chart is pretty amazing right here.
What are we looking at, Trump?
All new numbers.
In a desperate attempt in trying to divert the public's attention on the state of the economy, on the American economy, he decides to hold a impromptu press conference with all of these reporters, showing them a chart with no backstory at all, saying that the numbers are going up, they're going up. And I honestly believe that he started seeing that people were starting to figure out what was going on, and he couldn't have them figuring out too soon. And the fact that a massive report recently broke that Trump purchased $100 million worth in bonds tied to the companies that his policies directly impacted, it makes sense. It makes sense why he wouldn't want you guys to know what was going on. He's up $3.4 billion in the last 8 months. Meanwhile, American companies like BlackRock loses $17 billion due to his policies. Y'all think that's a coincidence? America proudly states that they stand with Israel, even though the American citizens are against the genocide that's taking place. And now American companies are losing money. They're losing the backing of trillion dollar worth companies and trust funds. Trillion. We're not even talking about billion anymore. Trillion. Do you know how much of a hit that is? How much of a loss that is? So yeah, Team MAGA is down. Team MAGA is down 1,000 points. They're down right now. And to be honest, I think that Donald Trump will soon start going into hiding. There was a little bit of a rumor around Labor Day that they thought that this man was gone. He was unalived, and a lot of people were celebrating it. And the reason why the rumor was able to actually be semi-successful, on top of the fact that people just don't like him, was the fact that they hadn't seen him in the public that much. Get used to it. Get used to it. I'm pretty sure this man is going to be in hiding a lot, considering he's pocketing a lot of the money that these American companies are losing. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter too much when he's stealing our money, but when he's taking money from the top percent in this country, oh yeah, off with his head.
Let us know what you think down in the comments, and what industry do you think is most affected by these Trump policies and tariffs?
So Stellantis is losing $2.7 billion. Stellantis is the big daddy of these companies right here. So like Dodge, Chrysler, and they made Jeep. Yeah, so this is all happening because of Donald Trump's tariffs, which are making it so, importing things are obviously much more expensive. And as Donald Trump's stated goal is obviously to encourage factories in the United States. But a lot of those cars that are here are pretty obviously, his tariffs have affected, pretty much everybody, whether it be in the tech field or in the clothing field or wherever the heck. Now enjoy this LinkedIn meme.
I think in terms of political spending, I'm going to do a lot less in the future.
And why is that?
I think I've done enough.
Is it because of blowback?
Well, if I see a reason to do political spending in the future, I will do it. I do not currently see a reason.
Now that Elon Musk has officially become the first person to ever lose $200 billion from their net worth in the shortest amount of time ever in history, I want to see us do this to the rest of the billionaires. Who's next? Who's next? Go. Like, who's next? I'm so dead ass. His net worth went from almost 400 billion to exactly 137 billion. From almost 400 billion in December to exactly 137 billion today. So who's next? Who's next on the chopping block? There's a couple of people that should have never been or become billionaires to begin with. So who's next? Who's fucking next? This is how we get the oligarchy to listen by force. Do you understand? Because they're not going to listen to us just for the sake of listening to us. They don't give a fuck about us, okay? You gotta hit them where it hurts. I told y'all. Hit them in their pockets. This is why this man was crying on Fox News.
Due to radical left lunatic boycotts of Tesla, Trump takes to Truth Social to try to convince his MAGA base to purchase Teslas. Pause to read. My question to Trump is, which MAGA voters do you think are going to buy Teslas? These ones?
In this small town, in the middle of the night, dozens of cars enter a showground.
Sold out, okay? I suggest that you be back here about 3 or 4 o'clock.
These people are arriving by the hundreds quite simply to see a doctor, because every year here for a weekend, a non-profit organization arranges free consultations. Serenia also does not want to miss the event. She spent 2 hours on the bus to come and camp here. Serenia has arrived with all her family, her niece Jennifer and her 3 children, a scene that resembles more that of a humanitarian disaster. And yet, it's really just modern-day America. Here, people are treated in turn by a horde of volunteers, nurses, family doctors. The most remarkable part takes place in this sports hall, transformed into a gigantic dentist office.
These ones who are among the poorest, most uneducated people in the country who camp out and line up for free socialist healthcare once a year but overwhelmingly vote for Trump. These are the people that are going to buy the Teslas? Or the people here in the southern U.S. region, where most of the Republican states rank among the poorest and most uneducated states in the union, who are also, say it with me, also the biggest welfare states funded by blue Democratic states like California. Who's going to tell them that it's the tree-hugging, environmentally conscious, educated, financially secure, radical left lunatics who carry Tesla all this time? Elon lost $17 billion in stock market yesterday in one day because the radical left lunatics pulled the rug out from under him. Tesla electric vehicles have thrived thanks to liberal environmental regulations that limit carbon emissions, but the Trump administration prioritized deregulation to boost traditional energy like coal.
We're also going to create clean coal. Clean coal is
and oil.
We will drill, baby, drill.
So it's rich that Trump would ask his drill baby drill voters to buy Elon's electric vehicles because they rely on the very environmental regulations that Trump has been working to dismantle. The fact that sometimes Elon is referred to as a genius, but he couldn't rub his 2 brain cells together to figure out the obvious is hilarious.
Here's the thing I don't understand. The company is worth billions.
Yes.
And every time I pick up the paper, each year it loses more money than it lost the year before. The company's never made a profit.
That's right.
Now, why? How does it? Why? How does that? Why?
Seems like a new math, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it's to someone who doesn't know anything about this. It's amazing. You know, we lost $12 million last year, and we're doing great.
Well, there are a whole series of Doonesbury cartoons about this. This is not a new phenomenon. We are a famously unprofitable company,
right.
And we are investing in the future. It's not, which isn't unusual. Companies have done this before. What's a little surprising about Amazon.com is the scale which we're doing it. We're doing it in a big way.
I see. So you just keep reinvesting.
We're reinvesting.
Now,
they're actually hemorrhaging money. So when I first made this post, I didn't have much research on what the earnings were, the return on investments were for these big companies. I didn't even know the Magnificent Seven were the Magnificent Seven. Since then, I've done a lot of research, and they're losing more money than any of us can even conceptualize. So I'm not sure if this is a bot. I'm assuming it's a bot, but just in case there are people who are being convinced by bots that Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, Nvidia are making money off of generative AI because that's what they're spending money on. They're spending billions of dollars on generative AI and they're losing billions of dollars. And this is in the tens and hundreds of billions of dollars that they're losing because generative AI isn't making them money. It's not making them money. And one of my favorite ways to call AI, it came from this app. It's a glorified autocorrect. Like, what really can you do with generative AI? That's the reason why, like, Instagram, for example, I don't know if you have gone onto the search and it's like asking you to use AI. And it makes no sense, right? For AI to be in the search bar on Instagram. Like, why are you telling me if I type in like long acrylic nails and I want to see pictures of long acrylic nails, why are you giving me a definition of acrylic nails, you weird bitch? All of that is to say, though, the AI bubble is very much a thing. It's very much happening. The companies that are spending money on generative AI are losing billions of dollars, and this weird bot or this weird person is incorrect. They're losing so much money. And there's going to be a bubble burst coming soon, if I would say probably this year or next year.
So the bad news keeps on coming for Donald Trump. So a federal appeals court ruled on Friday that Donald Trump's tariffs were in fact legal, and he leaned illegally on emergency economic powers to do so. Now, Donald Trump has appealed. We know that he's appealed to do that. If his appeal loses, then it's been deemed that Donald Trump has to pay back the tariffs to U.S. businesses. And as of August 24th, that's $210 billion.
The US is being hypocritical once again. The free market is a complete joke and national security beats everything. So get this, the news is swirling that the US government is in talks to buy a massive 10% stake in the chipmaker Intel. If this actually happens, Uncle Sam is going to become the single largest shareholder of Intel. Intel stock jumped over 7% intraday on the news and continued to climb during pre-market trading. What a clever move of manipulating the market. But hold on, wait a second. Does that mean Intel is now a state-owned enterprise? You know, the exact same thing that the US and Western media has spent decades backlashing China for. But now the US is doing exactly the same. Duh. Now what they're telling you is that this is all for national security. To be fair, let me tell you, Intel is being crushed. Their stock plunged 60%, and they're losing billions of dollars and getting absolutely smoked by competitors like AMD and Nvidia. I mean, they should have let Intel die if they are so bad at doing business. What they are saying now is that this is a lifeline to stop the last major US chipmaker from collapsing. But the reality is the US government is using taxpayers' money to ensure a private company won't lose the market competition. Do you even think this is fair to AMD or Nvidia? And this isn't a one-off. Trump played a pay-to-play strategy. They've already told companies like AMD or Nvidia that they will have to pay US government a 15% of their revenue on exports to China just to operate. Many people are calling that straight-up gangster robbery, and that will hurt Americans' own innovative companies and lose competitiveness. Furthermore, this creates legal gray areas. It leads to unpredictable rules, scares innovators, and threatens to kill the very innovations that make US a global tech leader. What we are seeing now is that the US government is politicalizing business and distorting the market. But the good news is we are already seeing some people profiting from this. So on 19th, SoftBank announced that they will inject $2 billion into Intel. And then on that same day, Intel's after-hours share price rose by more than 5% in response. So what are we really seeing here? Is the free market dead? Let me know what you think in the comments.
I came across internal documents after speaking with 200 people, and I figured out that Apple was investing, by 2015, $55 billion a year into China. So $55 billion is...
A year?
$55 billion is per year. That's the investment. A lot of that is training costs for the employees in China. And the number of employees, like per Tim Cook's public estimate, right, is 3 million people are assembling iPhones and other Mac products in China.
But these aren't just low level, like, oh, it's a million people doing
lots of unskilled jobs, the ones that Howard Lutnick wants to bring back to America.
Yes.
Yep. And lots of PhDs at Foxconn.
Right.
Really sophisticated.
Right.
But my point is, like, lots of times people think there's great vocational training in China. The vocational school in China is Apple.
They've trained all these workers.
Yes, they've done a huge job. So let me just put the $55 billion in context.
Please.
I could not find any corporate equivalent for how much someone is investing in another country. So I had to go to government efforts. So you look at something like the CHIPS Act, right? Biden's flagship plan, let's bring chip fabrication back to America. That's $53 billion over 4 years, right? Another way of saying that Apple is investing quadruple what the Commerce Secretary called a once-in-a-generation investment in America. So that's nuts. And then you go back to...
So after watching that video, I said, well, let me look into how much investment American companies have invested into China. So roughly around the late 90s to early 2000, nearly 6,700, I'm going to get through this. Nearly 6,700 American investments in China with a combined value of $228 billion. It includes 1,300 U.S. companies that have built significant operations in China, 430 of them investing more than $50 million and 56 with billion-dollar bets. So then it got me curious. How much money does China invest in America? Since 2000, $60 billion. So China has been roughly investing into America about $2.5 billion a year. And America has been investing into China $8 billion a year. Y'all are telling us that that country is so terrible, but they are investing billions of dollars over there. That is wild. That is a wild statistic. And then I saw this. China's own statistics says that 293 million people work in factories in 2021. That says 293 million. In October, in America, there was 161.5 million people that were employed. And y'all want to bring all the manufacturing jobs back to America? We don't have the workforce. That says 293 million. Now, these are rough estimates, right? Like, I'm not saying it's exact, but estimately wise. I know that's not a word. Leave me alone. If that country was so bad, why does America allow these billionaires and millionaires to invest all that money into China? If China was out to get us, why are we allowing our millionaires and billionaires to invest in that country to the tune of almost $300 billion? Make it make sense. Let me know in the comment section. But that's wild. And yes, I'm laughing because America is stupid. Look what we did. Look what we did.
Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates were sitting next to Donald Trump and his wife last night. Okay, y'all. I'm not lying. Okay, y'all. Trump hosted a high-profile dinner at the White House. Okay, y'all. Bringing together tech leaders like Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, Tim Cook, and Sam Altman. Okay, y'all, to discuss AI advancements and global health innovations. The event future, y'all, pledges over $1.2 trillion in the United States in investments from Meta, Apple, and with Gates, highlighting plans to eradicate diseases like polio and HIV through vaccines and gene editing. Okay, y'all, while Trump praised the group's revolutionary potential. This shows y'all how our government and how the businesses are made, okay, y'all? I'm in a business 101 class right now today, and I had to really sit there and learn about how most of the laws that we have going on today, most of everything that's going on today, has nothing to do with anything that's benefiting U.S. citizens, okay, y'all? They're letting these billionaires invest into into the White House and invest into the U.S. in order to get everything they want to get done. This is the most craziest shit ever. Why is Bill Gates there? What is he there for? Mark Zuckerberg, didn't you block Trump on Facebook and on everything like that or whatever? Like, y'all have to make this shit make sense, okay, y'all? So Mark Zuckerberg, right? He confirmed that he'll be investing over $600 billion into the United States over the next 3 years. Through 2028, he stated, okay, y'all? He said that they'll be building data centers and infrastructure to power the next wave of innovation. Something has to be done about the oligarchy, okay, y'all? Because, like, this don't make no fucking sense, okay, y'all? Bill Gates was at the White House in a position of honor. And this man discusses fake meat, triple boosted people, all right, y'all, eating GMO foods, genetically engineered bugs, blocking the sun, geoengineered climate change, and he's getting honored. Why is he at the White House? Make this shit make sense. He explained that his goal is to honestly take America's innovation to the next level with hopes of curing and eradicating most diseases. Y'all help me understand what the Bill Gates know about curing diseases. What does he know? What does this man really know? He said the work being done by the people at this table is changing the world worldwide. And honestly, it is. It really, truly is. It really truly is, okay, y'all? Even OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, y'all, made a statement. He stated to Trump, he said, "Thank you for being such a pro-business, pro-innovation president. It is very refreshing changes." He said, "The investment that's happening here, the ability to get the power of the industry back, I don't think that would have happened without your leadership." Duh. Some presidents or some people just cannot be bought. Trump is being bought. That's how everything that's happening right now today. He's being bought. Throughout the money. If you don't have no money, it don't matter what knowledge you have on anything. If you don't have, Trump even decided to speak on the free speech thing in UK, right, y'all? He's talking about, "Oh, I can't believe this happening like that, blah, blah, blah," and it's just weird. And when he know what the fuck is going on, okay, y'all? And like I said, y'all, it was the Meta CEO, Mark Zuckerberg there, Microsoft CEO, Satya Nadella, Google CEO, Sundar Pichai, Apple CEO, Tim Cook, AMD CEO, Lisa Su, OpenAI CEO, Sam Altman, and Bill Gates. The Apple CEO, Tim Cook, stated that he wants to thank Trump for setting the tone for such that we could make a major investment in America. Through currency, through money, our livelihood is being fucking changed. That's exactly what's happening. That's what we're watching happen. That's what we're watching being done right now. Like, this is some crazy ass shit, y'all. Like, it's really a spit in the face to know that if the fact that the only reason why Bill Gates is even here, or the real reason why this man is able to get into such high profile rooms, is because he's literally been able to pay his way through. This Donald Trump hosting this meeting yesterday, or this dinner yesterday at the White House with all of these damn tech giants and all these billionaires, y'all, shows exactly why things are the way they are. It's called a planned fucking economy, y'all. It's called oligarchy. It's called, like, monopoly. It's all bullshit, okay, y'all? Like, the fact that Trump hosted a high-profile dinner at the White House and invited those such as Mark Zuckerberg. And Mark Zuckerberg, didn't you block Trump on social media? Wasn't he, like, literally bashing Trump? But through money, he's able to get through. Because that's the same shit that happened with Elon Musk. Trump and Elon Musk did not fuck with each other at first. But the fact that Elon Musk was willing to invest in Trump's fucking, through his campaign and things like that or whatever, he was able to make big decisions within the White House and within the economy. He was able to get Doge and do whatever the fuck he wanted to do within the economy. And y'all forgot all about this man, right? And he's still around here making big moves with these satellites. Man.
I want to offer a moment of silence for Elon Musk because he lost $16 billion in one day. Okay, I'm done. The man lost $16 billion, and won't even feel that. Whereas people here in the US can't afford their groceries. They can't afford a dozen eggs that are priced at the highest rate they've ever been at just under $5. This is what happens when we collectively, around the world, decide to boycott Tesla as a brand. Tesla stock has plummeted. Sales are lower than ever. This is a great example of the way that we can affect change. We're actively boycotting. We are protesting. Our voices are being heard, and our money is not being spent there any longer. And this is a big deal. We should collectively be proud of ourselves for what we've accomplished so far.
They will never do this again. This is one of those classic case studies they'll be teaching at Harvard. It's gotten that bad in market cap loss. This idea of ever doing a pivot on a theme that's working, that's maintaining your share in the highly competitive beer business, and doing something like this will never be done again. And that's probably the good news from this. If this CEO survives and the management team survives.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.